Program complete. Enter when ready.
You know, when I first got like flower thing, I was like really impressed by like how like cool it looked like from the side. It was like really
Yeah.
like intricate.
Yeah.
And then when it's like camera's like face on, you can tell it's literally just a hand in a
Like
glove
some guy's
like doing this. It's just like, oh, it's just a puppet. Okay, I gotcha. But like from the side, it looked good.
Yeah.
You know, it was all
When it
like
closed up and
weird.
like facing her, it looked totally fine. But then it like also was
It was
just
like,
like,
I was just like, oh no, you ruined it.
yeah, yeah. I was thinking
You
about
ruined
that
it.
scene. I
It's
was
pretty
thinking,
good though. I still like it.
Risk. Risk is our business. Out there. That'll work.
What happened?
Starfleet was founded to seek out new life. Well, there it sits.
Rock and roll! 6.
We're not afraid of diversity. We don't persecute it, we embrace it.
At least I won't die alone. Join our Federation of Planets. And reach for the stars.
Those were the days.
all right, welcome back to another Retrek review, where we cover Star Trek weekly on this podcast. This week, we're talking about episode 1 or episode 5, if you're following us in production order, of Star Trek the original series, with the episode entitled The Man Trap. This is the series premiere of Star Trek the original series, also technically like the franchise debut of Star Trek in general. It first aired September 8th, 1966, just around the corner. So we are watching this in production order, so we are jumping around a little bit. So last week we watched technically like episode 3, now we're watching episode 1, but for us that was 1 and this is 5, and we skipped a couple. So that's where we are. This episode, The Man Trap, was written by George Clayton Johnson and directed by Mark Daniels. The synopsis is: a mysterious creature stalks the Enterprise, murdering crew members. So
They sure did.
Yeah, so that's the synopsis. Before we jump into essentially a scene by scene review, let's ask Caleb what he thought of the episode.
Okay, so it was good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty fun episode. Like you had mentioned, like stuff was a little different, like production wise, like it was brighter and
Yeah,
things were different. A lot more characters that I'm like that I remember, you know.
Yeah.
Like the actual like main cast, you know.
Yeah.
I really like. I've always loved Dr. McCoy, so having him be in it and being like a pretty like main part of this episode was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a good episode. I remember that alien. I remember always like seeing that alien in things, but I didn't know it was from this episode specifically, so that was kind of fun. Yeah, it wasn't like, I don't know. My fear like going into like the original series was like everything was going to be like really like kind of hokey and cheesy.
Yeah.
And it is to some extent, but it's
Exactly.
it's not as bad as I remember. It's not Doctor Who for sure.
It's not as the internet always paints it a different color, but it's like it's I mean it's what do you call it? It's
campy, but it's not
campy, and it's definitely like of its era,
Yeah.
but overall, it's still kind of interesting to watch.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it being like, do you see why NBC decided to pick this episode over the Where No Man Has Gone Before? Do you see why
Yeah.
they picked this to be the first thing ever aired on television?
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see it's more of a mystery for one. It's more like actiony.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a creature feature,
Yeah.
which was like pretty popular at the time period.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is like the same time period, right? As like Creature from the Black Lagoon and
Yeah, it'd be about, I think, like 10 years after, but basically, yeah.
yeah. So you know, early black and
Oh,
white
those are,
creature
yeah.
features and stuff. You know what's funny too is like, so I grew up watching like X-Files.
Yeah.
And you know, X-Files had like that overarching like storyline of like Mulder's sister being
Yeah, yeah.
abducted. But then you would do these weird episodes in the middle. But then you'd also have like Creature of the Week.
Gotcha.
And it's funny that like this kind of had that feel. Like I almost wonder if like Star Trek kind of like started that formula that like they followed with like X-Files.
A little bit. Yeah.
Like we're doing this mission, helping this thing out, and then the next episode is like, oh, this weird creature's on board.
Yeah.
Because even like Enterprise was kind of like that too.
Yes.
You know, they would do like their missions, and then there'd be an episode where it was like this weird alien entity would be on the ship, and it was covering people in goo.
Yeah.
So there'd be like these creature episodes, or like, you know, alien episodes, and they're just kind of like fun, like separate episodes, like just have nothing to do with like the story.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
like,
kind of like that.
I do know. I mean, I don't know if people were getting it in on their televisions, but I do know Doctor Who had been out for like 3 years, and that's very much like what's, you know, creature feature. It's not really a creature of the week, but
Robot of the week.
It's like, oh, this thing's happening during this week. But also, what came out on CBS like a year earlier was Lost in Space, and that's that's very much like what are they getting into this week type of thing.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Was the early, like the beginning of Doctor Who, was that even like brought over to the US at that time period?
It probably wasn't.
I feel like none of that stuff was brought over to like we were kids.
Well, I'll just say, according to IMDb, it released in the United States in 1985.
Okay. Interesting.
Which was like 20 years after it had, you know, been on the air over in Britain.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely Lost in Space is where most of that creature feature. And I think there's been, I'm sure there's black and white stuff that I'm just not familiar with. That also was like, it's following the pattern of this.
Yeah, probably.
Because the other thing is too, not that it's like a creature feature, but the format of what are these people getting into this week is also like Wagon Train and all those other westerns. It's like, oh, this episode, this guy's coming in and, you know, he sells snake oil, and you're like, oh, okay, he's clearly the bad guy. But really what ends up being, it's like this kid gets trapped in a mine and now they have to go help him out. You know, it's like that's more the mentality of writing back.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, the westerns are always like that too, right? Like like Rifleman and stuff. Like there was always something that was going on.
New guy coming into town and causing problems, and
so that's true. So like obviously it makes sense they would follow the same kind of story beats. Just in space.
Okay, so here we are. We're going to get into the review, and here we go. In 2266, the Enterprise, in service of Starfleet of the United Federation of Planets, arrives at the planet M113 to provide supplies and routine medical exams to Dr. Robert Crater and his wife Nancy, with whom their crewman Dr. Leonard McCoy was once romantically involved. M 113 has supposedly been home to the Craters for 5 years, during which time they have conducted an archaeological survey of the planet's ruins. They are the only known inhabitants of the planet. So did you notice that the planet is like the same planet from the opening? Like it's the same,
Oh yeah, that red.
like the red kind of Mars looking. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I didn't notice. I watched the opening, like the first episode,
Yeah.
but then after that I kind of like I'll usually skip the intro.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
just me, but
They do. I know the funny thing is, and I
they
like
change it.
I like that either CBS or Gene Roddenberry did it. Every season, it's a new. So there's a new intro every season.
Yeah, that's cool.
So immediately you can kind of tell just by like the opening credits, like what this episode's either in season 1, season 2, or season 3.
Yeah. A lot of other stuff does that too, more recently too.
Yeah, true.
I really like. Yeah, I really like.
I think honestly, I think with you watching Strange New Worlds, it's the same thing. Because like in season 1, most of the opening footage is the same. I'm saying in season 1, that's the intro. But when you watch season 2 intro, that they remove a couple things and put different things in.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, oh yeah, this is
it's pretty cool.
Season 2 episode.
Yeah, you always know where you're at, which is kind of cool. I thought it was very funny that their names were Craters. The Craters. that was very like on the nose.
Yeah, it was an interesting.
And I kind of like
their names were just very like Nancy and Robert, like very.
Yeah. Well, it's
like,
very Those were pretty. I also like Kirk's like voiceover in the beginning, and it's kind of like after the fact, like he's giving like kind of like a post, like this is what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like that. Kind of sets up the episode, like the whole like so we didn't know at the time this was going on.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Usually the captain's log is a way to either explain to the audience what's happening if you didn't really quite follow it, or it's a way to like not to help them not have to film things. It's like, oh well, why is this thing happening? It's like, well, the captain just said in his log that this is like in the parts that you didn't watch, like these 3 things had happened, and now we're back to the episode.
Right. Yeah. I feel like sometimes it's used as like a like, okay, this is what we learned this week.
Yeah.
This is like, it's kind of like one of those things at the end, like, like, oh, then, even like you should do this moving forward. We learn not to judge other species.
Yes.
But I liked it. I kind of like that setup, like, oh, this is going to be bad.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing what they end up kind of like setting up for the episode, because when it first starts you're kind of like, okay, but then it like immediately gets into like a weird thing and you're like, okay, like yeah, so here it is. So Captain Kirk, Dr. McCoy, and Darnell beam down to the planet and meet Dr. Crater and apparently Nancy Crater, but each of the landing party sees a different woman. McCoy, who says he is amazed at how little Nancy has changed since the last time he saw her, sees the Nancy he knew 12 years prior. Kirk sees a woman similar to the woman McCoy sees, but more appropriately aged. Darnell sees a completely different, younger, blonde woman who looks exactly like someone he met before on Wrigley's Pleasure Planet. When he mentions this, Nancy doesn't seem to mind, but Kirk, and especially McCoy, find this an offensive remark and ask the crewman to step outside. Minutes later, Nancy leaves and still looks to Darnell like a beautiful blonde woman. and he is lured away by this seductive version of Nancy Crater. I haven't seen this episode in a while, so I forgot when they get in there, and it's immediately like, nope, she's different. I was like, oh wow, yeah, I forget that they get like right into it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And they do a couple things in this episode where like in like the first couple seconds of it happening, I was like, what the heck is happening? What is going on? And yeah, so this was one of them where like she comes in and she's like young Nancy, and then like Kirk looks at her and she's like old.
Yeah.
And then the other guy looks at her and she's blonde. I'm like, what the heck? Like what the heck is this? Something
Yeah.
something's weird. But it was like very like especially because like it's an older show, like the transition was like very like abrupt.
Yes. Yes.
It was just like, what the heck? Oh boy. But right off the bat, I was like, oh, okay. 1960s, the man trap. Got it.
Got it. Figured it out. The man
Except
trap
it was funny. It was
isn't
not, it was
woman.
funny that like for Kirk, it wasn't like anything he was attracted to. It was just he was like,
'Cause
no,
there
not
is
interested.
there was a really funny thing that they 100% get into, and I can just kind of tell you because it's like we're not going to watch all of it. But the thing that they lean heavily into Kirk and like his love life, like when you
Yeah.
really are going to get down to like at his core being of his heart, he loves the ship.
Ah,
So it's kind of a thing that they play to a lot.
okay, gotcha.
So
That's funny.
it is kind of funny. And I think I don't know if it was a note from the writers or Gene Roddenberry to be like, no, Kirk isn't going to be like fooled by this thing, that he doesn't like, he's more in love with the ship, so he just sees an age appropriate woman. You know, it's like, oh
He
yeah,
kind of gives it to McCoy a little bit too in this episode, like about like some stuff. And it's just funny because I feel like later on in the season Kirk does some really stupid stuff too, like
oh, absolutely,
with women, but he's like giving it to McCoy. Like,
yeah,
man.
we're pretty funny for your second episode of this to be like, and everybody's like, okay, every Kirk is always known as getting his shirt ripped and kissing women and having weird like talking cadence, right? Like his, and then you watch these two episodes and it's like, no, his shirt gets ripped, but no, nothing.
It must be a different Kirk. Does his shirt get ripped?
In the first episode, not this episode.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say I don't remember any of that stuff happening. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, his shirt was unscathed. Well, they only had like 10 shirts on production, so
that's right. Yeah.
Couldn't rip, I couldn't rip all of them.
I mean, if that last little thing lasted longer, he definitely would have gotten a shirt rip. You know, it would have happened.
Oh man. Yeah. It was...
All right. Dr. Crater then arrives, treating Kirk and McCoy with hostility, telling Kirk that the only thing they need are salt tablets. Otherwise, he and his wife want to be left alone. Kirk debates this, insisting they must need other supplies and that regulations require that McCoy give them physicals at a yearly interval. After Crater realizes that McCoy is the same man he heard his wife mention, his demeanor takes a turn for the better. During the physical, a woman's scream is heard from outside.
Salt. We just need salt.
Please, so much salt.
Give us the salt. Salt and water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like right off the bat, you're like, oh, okay, something's going on.
Yeah. I think one of the funny parts that I didn't mention here was that the Nancy calls McCoy plum, and they don't really explain why that's a thing.
No idea why.
And then later, Kirk
calls him Bones, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, why?
Yeah, I don't think they ever. I know they do in the movie, but I don't think they ever in the any of the stuff.
It must be a reference. It's got to be a reference from like World War I when like they used to call like doctors like the sawbones.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You hit the nail on the head.
So that makes sense.
It is referring to him as Old Sawbones.
Yeah. But it's just out of nowhere. It's like, so like, well, I mean, we watched it the way it doesn't show on TV, but like, it's the first time we've even seen McCoy, and he's had 6 names right off the bat, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Like, why does he have 6 names? She calls him Plum, he calls him Bones.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, page Dr. McCoy. and then they call him by his first name too, like all the time too.
Yeah,
like,
Leonard, yeah.
what the heck? Yeah. What is going on?
This guy's got all the nicknames.
Who is this guy?
Is he the captain of the Enterprise?
I think so. Man, yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like kind of out of nowhere, wasn't it? And she calls him Plum.
Yeah, and then Kirk's like, okay, you take care of this, Plum. And then McCoy's like, what? And he's like, oh, Doctor.
Oh, sorry, Bones. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is funny. But that is like something that like you would kind of like poke fun at somebody for.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, oh, she used to call you Plum. Oh, that's cute.
See you later, Plum.
See you, Plum.
When Kirk goes to investigate, he finds Darnell dead with Nancy standing over him. Darnell's face is scarred with circular marks. Nancy, appearing very distraught, claims she saw him put a poisonous plant called a Borgia in his mouth, but was unable to rescue him in time. So I immediately thought of you from the Strange New Worlds episode where they come over and they're just like, oh, and it's just like, oh, how that's strange. Oh, yes, he ate all of this. And it's like, oh, yes,
man.
He ate it and he's dead. I can't believe it. It's just like, yeah, but you were standing right next to him.
No. Before I could even say anything, he was already chewing. He's gone. He's gone.
And then they were like, why would he eat this? Oh man, it made me laugh. So
yeah. Right before he ate it, he just kept saying how hungry he was. I tried to. It was like so over the top.
Yeah.
It was like so very clearly too that like when Kirk got over there, he like took the thing out of his mouth that was like right in his lip, like she had like just put it like in his mouth. I'm like, yeah, but what about all these like octopus suction cups all over his face? That just must be allergic reaction to the plant. I don't know.
It just happens all over the body. It's just it's not under his shirt. It's only where his skin is exposed.
Oh, that's weird. That's weird. Hey, you wouldn't happen to have any salt, would you? Could you send some salt? But that's the other funny thing too, is like this whole time I just kept thinking like, if that stupid thing would have just waited for them to give him more salt.
Mm-hmm.
Like you kill somebody from the ship, like you know, the thing prided itself on being like smart too, but it was like, if you kill somebody from the ship, what do you think? They're just gonna leave? You don't think they're gonna like investigate? And
yeah, it's a thing where they try to flip between the two thoughts of it is benevolent and just trying to survive because it's like dying, and it's just it can't like help itself because it's gonna die, and then it flips right, like almost pretty much right at the end. Also, it's like, no, it's kind of just a monster and it's trying to kill you. Like, and it was funny because it's like, no, you have to understand it. So, and it's like, no, it doesn't want to hurt anybody. And then it cuts to it. And it's like,
he doesn't want to hurt anybody. He especially wouldn't hurt me. I know that for sure.
Unless it has salt.
No, he wouldn't. I wouldn't give it up. I wouldn't tell you where it is. He's my best friend. He would never do anything. He would never do anything to me.
He would never hurt me.
Oh, look, he's dead.
Oh. Okay. So on the bridge, a bored and somewhat flirty communications officer, Lieutenant Uhura, is attempting to engage Commander Spock in conversation while he sits in the Enterprise command chair, to no avail, due to Spock's half Vulcan heritage causing a lack of a sense of humor. Kirk and McCoy beam back up. When the transporter room reports that one of the party is dead, Spock, who is still talking to Uhura, unemotionally responds, "Bridge acknowledging." This causes Uhura to express wonder that Spock did not even ask who among the party had died, as it could have been Captain Kirk, whom Uhura notes is the closest thing he has to a friend. Spock replies that showing concern would not change the outcome of the event, and implies that therefore doing so would be meaningless. So I thought it was kind of nice that Uhura is similar to her Strange New Worlds person, the same. They had like same kind of feel to them.
Yeah, a little bit. It's funny too, like you said last week, how like going back and like seeing like Spock younger, and then like you jump cut to like him in the future, and he's like, "What is crying?" Well, the 60s they had to like tell you like, "Hey, he's an alien. He doesn't know anything about
Right.
human."
Yeah, they're like
But,
just exploring what Vulcans are. Yeah. So it's really funny because it's like,
it is
hey,
fun.
Spock, don't you remember we all saw you crying at Duke's funeral? Like, nope.
Yeah,
I don't even know who
wiped
Duke
it. Wiped it. Also, I don't have salt.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I don't.
No, I was raised in a different planet. We don't
Yeah.
have moons or salt
Nothing.
or red blood.
Nope.
You fools. Yes, that was pretty funny.
Aboard the Enterprise, McCoy determines that Darnell was not poisoned, and in fact, McCoy can find nothing wrong with him at all. When McCoy recalls that Nancy looked younger to him and notes that he could have been looking at her through a romantic haze, Kirk snaps. How your lost love affects your vision, Doctor, doesn't interest me. I've lost a man, and I want to know what killed him.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that.
I don't care about any of this. What do you like?
Yeah.
What killed him?
I don't care about Nancy, you pig. Yeah, that was pretty good. He even says later on, something later on too about stop thinking with your glands.
He does say stop thinking with your glands.
What? What does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah, because Kirk's no business. He don't care about women and love. He hates it.
No, hates it both. His love is the sea.
That's right. Later, McCoy discovers that Darnell's body has been completely drained of salt. Kirk, McCoy, and two crewmen beam back down to the planet to investigate further, and Kirk insists that Dr. Crater and his wife beam up to the Enterprise until the investigation is complete. Abruptly, Dr. Crater runs off to find Nancy. Sturgeon, one of the crewmen who beamed down with Kirk and McCoy, is found dead. The other, Green, is also killed by Nancy. And then Nancy transforms into Green.
Oh, no. Yeah, so like I always tell you, like I'm from the Enterprise is like my first thing.
Yeah.
So like they don't even start like losing people until like the last like season and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now here it is, like episode 2, and like they're like, oh yeah, these 4 guys, they're dead. They're already dead.
They're gone.
And they're not red shirts either, which is always like the joke.
Right?
I always
Isn't that
hear
funny too?
Yeah.
That's why it's one of those things that just like many fandoms, like people who don't actually know the fandom, they always say things, and you're always just like, yeah, like but that doesn't really happen in any of the stuff. I mean, red shirts definitely die, but it's not always red shirts.
Yeah, I mean, I get maybe that's just the joke.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I'll put it this way: it's the more appropriate joke is anybody who's on the away team that isn't a recurring cast member. Like oh, that guy's gonna die.
Yeah, But the other
Like-
thing too is that like red shirts always indicate like engineers or security. So it's
Yeah.
like obviously those are going to be like the people that are going to die.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right.
they're like they're in the middle of the stuff.
Yep. I like that Dr. Crater was like, "Hey, is it weird that I want salt? It's not weird. It's not weird. You're weird that you think I want salt." And then they're like, "Yeah." And then Kirk's like, "Yeah, I get it. You're on like an arid planet. Of course you want salt, but like my crewman just died of salt depletion, and you and your wife are requesting it." And he's like, "Well, come over here and look at my chest." And he opens this huge thing, and then he's like, "And I only have this tiny bit of salt."
You see this salt? It's almost gone. It's almost like some creature's been sucking it down.
I think it's the one thing that like it's almost like is it almost like it's like zombie movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like the outbreak happens and suddenly nobody in the movie ever knows what zombies are. They've never heard of them. They don't have any concept of like the dead reanimating. They're just like, I don't, this is crazy. And it's like the same thing I feel like Star Trek does, unfortunately, is like they land onto a planet and then like a mysterious thing happens and they're just immediately like, wow, it can't be an alien hiding in
No.
disguise.
We've never met any other alien creatures
Never
before.
encountered. Yeah.
It's not like our job is to make first contact with anything.
Right. Or like record and notate like all of the weird things happening. Like, oh, don't go back to that planet. It's strange there.
Yeah, right.
It's just funny. It's like every episode they get like amnesia and then they don't remember. Like that they're like, oh yeah, last week a plant tried to eat us, but this week when we crawl into this hole and this weird vine is moving, it's like, well, it's not going to eat us. I'm not going to think that. Why would it do that?
No. Plants don't do anything. Well, that one crew member, she called that plant an inanimate object.
That's right.
Or no. Yeah, he did.
He
Scotty,
did, yeah.
Yeah.
Sulu.
Yeah. They're like, what? It's like clearly alive. He's like, no, it's an inanimate object. Like, no, the fork that you're using isn't in it. That's all right. Just pilot the ship. It'll be all right.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Don't worry about it.
Kirk and McCoy question Green, and then the three beam back up to the Enterprise. The being Kirk and McCoy saw as Nancy Crater and later Green is a shape-shifting creature, the last surviving native of M113, and can literally appear as a different being to each person it meets. By reaching into their minds and drawing on their memories, the creature can lull potential victims into a false sense of security and hypnotize them before killing them. Still in the image of Green, the creature follows Yeoman Janice Rand, who is carrying a tray of food, including a salt shaker, into a botanical laboratory where Lieutenant Hikaru Sulu greets Green by name. Green says nothing, which Rand finds curious. Eventually, Green exits without harming anyone, revealing the deception or getting any salt. So I thought, okay, this is like a really weird beat to me. So they come back up. That's fine.
Yeah.
He comes off. He gets off the transporter and they're walking around and Kirk tells him to go to get Sturgeon's body to the transporter guy. And then Green starts walking, like wandering the hallways. He runs into Yeoman Rand and she has this tray of food, which, okay, whatever. But then she starts like eating it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's like, at first you think it's for her, because so what? She's taking it to her room or something and like eating it. But then she's like eating Sulu's food. And then when Green
and she like slaps his hand. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Green goes to reach for the salt shaker and she's like, oh, how dare you? You're
Who do you think you are, you piece of garbage?
Do the same thing you're doing.
That's funny. And that's like her only job is just to bring food to people.
Yeah, bring food around. Yeah. It just made me laugh. This is the scene with the puppet hand flower thing when it goes in and
like why does it freaks out, right? Because he's a weird alien creature.
Probably because the flower can either see or sense that it's not like a human walking around. It's like a weird,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah, right.
shape
The
shifting
flower
creature.
actually sees what he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It turns into a human hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very weird, like out of place. Like, okay, this now.
Yes.
And it doesn't really like, I guess it kind of sets up, like those characters a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit like we talked about earlier, where they're trying to, well, okay, now you got to set up the idea that this thing is wandering the hallways, like it's on the ship.
Yeah.
So you want to give the feel that it's like walking around and looking for things, and is it a danger to the ship, like all this stuff. But the other thing is too is like now in this area they kind of pose the thought that this thing isn't really like a villain. It's just trying to survive, because like it could have at any point killed Janice,
Yeah.
or it could have like killed Sulu, like had waited
Yeah.
until she left and then killed Sulu when he was eating his food. Like it doesn't. So, it clearly isn't like just malicious to be malicious.
It took its time trying to eat McCoy too.
Right, exactly. But then suddenly, like the last 5 minutes of it, when we get there, all of a sudden it's just like its
Yeah,
whole
it's
like
horrible.
motivation like changes.
Yeah. It's a horrible monster. It's weird. It almost sets up Sulu like he's like the ship's like botanist. Like he's
Yes, yeah,
and he's just kind of like he's just kind of like a collector of plants. Because
yeah,
that's like not his job. It was funny. It's like you see him and you're like, okay, what does he do on the ship? And then like later on, they're like, all right, Sulu, take us out of here. And he's like, you got it. It's like, so he's
everything.
pilots the ship, but he's okay. Yeah, he does everything.
He does whatever the script for that week tells him to do.
Well, that's good. It's always good to have one of those.
Yeah, it is a thing where they kind of put people in Star Trek. They will put officers doing like other tasks, sometimes doing other things. But yeah, for the most part, it's like this is the guy who flies the ship,
right? Yeah,
or whatever. Yeah. So loose aboard the Enterprise, the M113 creature, still disguised as green, bites his knuckle nervously, an idiosyncratic gesture Nancy had done earlier. When Uhura appears, the creature assumes a new form, one Uhura regards with curiosity and a sense of familiarity. When he begins speaking in Swahili, Uhura is delighted and responds in the same language. But then her smile fades as the creature apparently causes her to freeze, to the point which she is unable to respond to hails for her to return to the bridge. It is only the appearance of Sulu and Rand leaving the botanical laboratory that saves Uhura from being the next victim. She comes to her senses and acknowledges through an intercom panel that she is on her way to the bridge. But soon another victim, crewman Barnhart, is found dead by Sulu and Rand on the Enterprise, with the same distinctive markings on his face. Kirk now knows that whatever killed Darnell and Sturgeon on the surface has now killed again on board the Enterprise.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Go to alert level 3, please.
Alert level 3, general quarters 3. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, all right, Captain, all the crew members are safely trapped in their rooms with some horrible creature. Great, thank you.
No problem.
No, that's excellent.
Yeah.
And then she, like, as McCoy, she just like stands there.
Yeah.
Like in the
It's beautiful. She wanted that Swahili man to touch her right in the face. Please.
Yeah. I know that whole exchange was weird too. She's like, "Do I know you?" And he's like, "Hmm."
Yes, you do.
You think about me when you're lonely. And she's like, "Hmm."
Do I think about you when I'm lonely?
And he's like, yes, you do. Now let me suction cup your face.
I need all of that salt, the delicious Swahili salt.
Mm. Yeah, like not to get technical, but like a lot of that ship would be like just covered in salt, like handles and rails and
True.
spacesuits and
Yeah. But just like we talked about a long time ago with when making Star Trek things, it's like, well, can you're like, can this thing be weathered? And it's like, not really, because everything gets like self-cleaned or you know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, I have not seen anybody going around and cleaning stuff, so
Not yet.
there are always funny people in the background doing stuff that you're like, that's not a job. That's not a job. But I think this scene specifically, there's like that big red like pipe system on that back wall, and the guy is literally just there, and he's just like, he's not doing anything to the ship.
He's just in the background. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, there's like another thing. There's like a thing, and the guy's just got like a light in his hand, and he's just going like this, and it's just like, oh yeah, not doing a single thing.
Well, even Dr. McCoy's thing from the very beginning, his doctor implement thing where he takes it out and he's like rubbing it. You're like body.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool though, because I guess I didn't realize how much Strange New Worlds like hover thing is very like close to like McCoy's.
Yes.
He like rubs on you, you know.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you said? Those were just like salt shakers?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. From the thing. Yeah. They're upside down, like salt and pepper shakers that were made by like some guy in Denmark. It's crazy. The thing that's really funny is knowing that they only have so many sets. So that's what everything's filmed like that. So when you look at it, when you watch it, like McCoy's medical office is the botanical laboratory. It's just redressed. And like, when they come off of like turbo lifts and they come down the hallway, they're just filming like on the other ends of the hallway or other like little corridors and stuff like that. It's really, really funny because you don't realize
it flows really well.
Yeah, you don't feel like it's the way they redress things. And I forget what they called it. The guys at the tour mentioned it, but those things are called add-ons or something like that. I can't remember what they call them, but basically like all those little things can just pop off the wall and they can put new stuff on it and then just film, and now it looks like a completely different hallway.
That's really cool.
Because like McCoy, like you'll notice going forward, like McCoy's bedroom is going to look just like Kirk's bedroom and Spock's bedroom. It's just it'll just get redressed.
Well, yeah.
They'll put different.
That makes sense. It makes sense too, like that they would have a base style bedroom.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, like for Enterprise, they must have had more like filming, like rooms and stuff, because like everybody's stuff feels so drastically different.
Yeah, they have a lot more rooms.
Even like the shape of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, there was one shot, I think it's right in the beginning, towards the beginning, where Kirk is like, well, when they beam up with Green, that's when it happens. So they beam up with Green. Spock and Kirk go their own way, and Green kind of lingers in that area. But like the camera like follows Kirk like close up, like a full shot of him walking down the hallway, turning to the lift. Turning down the lift,
and it's like really.
It's a really like cool, like like really interesting shot. Yeah. And I forgot that the lift system was like you touch it and you say like the floor.
Yeah. Bridge,
kind of cool. Bridge. Take me to my room, please.
Liz, bridge.
Liz, salt floor, please. Salt deck, please.
Please go to salt factory.
Salt factory. Yeah. What do you mean there's no salt floor?
Deck 10, please. All right, we're at the halfway point, so go down in the comments below and write the word plum.
Salt floor.
Salt floor, not salt floor. Okay, Kirk and Spock beam down to the planet to capture Professor Crater. While Kirk tries to reason with Crater, who is armed with a laser pistol, Spock finds the real Green's body. Kirk calls up to the Enterprise with his communicator and orders General Quarters Condition 3 and has Sulu begin to search for Green. Crater does not want to be captured and fires his laser pistol at Kirk and Spock, hitting and partially destroying one of the ancient archaeological structures. Kirk and Spock set their phasers for stun. Spock then distracts Crater and Kirk fires a red bolt from his phaser and stuns Crater. Kirk and Spock question Crater about the creature. After Kirk inquires about Nancy, Crater says that she has been dead for a year, maybe 2. He also describes the M113 creature, comparing it to the buffalo on the planet Earth. Once, they were so plentiful a herd covered 3 states, but no longer. The problem facing the M113 creature is the need for sodium chloride, salt. The creature will die without salt. The rest of its race died due to this shortage, and now Nancy is the last of its kind. It's somewhere around here is when the 2 things happen. I don't know why the thing didn't talk about it, but anyways, the 2 things happen.
There's a couple things.
Yeah. The 2 things that made me laugh, and it's probably the thing that made you laugh. You have a thing that made you laugh, and I have a thing that made me laugh. And it's when McCoy is in his room, and he's like talking to the captain, and he's like, "Oh, can't sleep, Bones?" And he's like, "No, can't." He's like, "Yeah, just take those red pills that you gave me a couple of weeks ago." And he goes, and then he pauses and he goes, "You'll sleep," like that, like, "Oh, you'll sleep," like, because that's what happened to me. Like, you jerk, you gave me stuff and I like passed out, kind of notation. But you wanted to talk about the little like multicolored like cube things, crunchy cube things that he was eating.
Oh yeah, that was interesting. He's just standing there eating on the bridge.
Yeah,
these like weird colored things, and they're crunchy. You can hear them like crunching on them.
Yeah,
I didn't know, like there must have just been like dyed carrots or something.
Probably apples and carrots. Yeah,
it was very interesting. There was almost one shot kind of like where he takes a bite and then he puts it back on the plate, and you can see like the outside is dyed.
Yes,
but the inside is like not dyed.
Yeah, it kind of either seemed like an apple or like something. Yeah.
There was something else. There was something else too, specifically in this scene. I'm trying to remember what it was. That's what it was. That scene where he, and I think like you said, like this has all been like digitally enhanced.
Oh yeah.
But like that scene where like they're talking to Crater and he like shoots that wall.
Yeah.
Was like it's like very abrupt. Like I wasn't expecting him just to shoot at it, and he shoots and he blows up half that wall. It was like really like out of nowhere, and it looked really good.
Yeah.
That beam, like that blue beam.
Yeah.
It was like blam, and everything blew up, you know?
Yeah, and then
Whoa.
Spock's like, he's trying to kill us, and he's like,
no, he wouldn't do that. You flank him. And then so like Kirk kind of like running around behind the thing.
Yeah.
And it very much reminds me of like, you know, when in Pet Detective when Jim Carrey is being Kirk through that like portal.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's okay. So now I get that. That's funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's like looking around the side, and then he jumps down underneath, and he's looking underneath the thing.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
But okay, so here's the other thing too. When they stun him, because I've seen people get stunned like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So they stun him, and then he starts talking. And I was like, what?
What's
okay, so he's a weird creature too. Like what?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, he talks slow when you're stunned.
He's just stunned.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Last of its kind. Earth history, remember? Like the passenger pigeon or the buffalo. Ooh. I feel strange.
Just stunned. You'll be able to think in a minute.
I almost don't think that they ever do that again. I don't think that they do.
That makes sense because I'd never see it. Like I didn't know what was happening. When that
Yeah,
happened.
because it happened for me too. I was watching it and I was like, oh, it must be the stun. Because even I was like super unfamiliar with it. It doesn't really keep happening. It should, but I don't think it does.
Huh.
I also don't think. I think to be fair, I think most of the time when they stun people, like they don't talk to them immediately. You know what I mean? So like this
Yeah.
might be one of the few times where if you talk to the guy like immediately after stunning him, like he would talk like that. But most of the time it's like he's stunned and then they cut to and he's like, in the brig or in the doctor's lab or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like he's been awake for a while.
Yeah, it was very interesting. None of that stuff was talked about in your like recap.
Yeah, I don't know why they skipped all that. I don't know why they skipped like Kirk telling McCoy to go to sleep and like McCoy's in his room like resting, and I don't know, it's weird.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I really did like the cadence of that where he's
Yeah.
like, you'll sleep. Yeah, you'll sleep. Don't even worry about it. And then she comes in and she's like, I think you should take him. I think you should take all of them.
You should have all of these. So, in the Enterprise briefing room, Kirk holds a conference with department heads and Professor Crater. The M113 creature appears at this meeting as McCoy, whom the creature knows is asleep in his quarters. It is during this meeting that Crater reveals that he and the last surviving creature have formed a symbiotic relationship. Crater provides the M113 creature with the needed salt, and, in turn, the creature gives the professor companionship. Something Crater has craved since the creature murdered his wife, the real Nancy Crater, for her salt. Crater also admits that he can recognize the creature in any guise, but does not reveal that the creature is presently sitting right next to him in the appearance of Dr. McCoy. When Crater refuses to assist in the capture of the creature, Spock suggests a truth serum, and the captain asks McCoy about it. McCoy reluctantly agrees, and the creature, leaves with Crater. Spock volunteers to accompany them. Even Kirk kind of touches on it in this scene, and it made me kind of laugh. I was like, gosh. It's like, he's like, listen, it's the last, the professor's like, listen, it's the last of its kind. There used to be millions of them. They all slowly dying off. This thing killed my wife. And it's like, it's the last one. You can't kill it. It's the last one. And he's like, plus it, it looks like my wife and it's nice. And then Kirk is like, listen, I don't want to hear about whatever you're doing when you're lonely down there on the planet. He's like, this thing is killing my people.
Yeah, right.
Like, are you suggesting that this thing killed his wife? It came back showing itself as his wife, and then they somehow worked out a system, and then he's like having some sort of courtship with this thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, so it took the form of your wife and became your friend, your lover, your partner. Like what? He almost kind of makes it sound like when you first seen it, like he hasn't really seen her like in a while,
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, you saw her? You saw my wife? And they're like, yeah. He's like, oh well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Did she get any salt or
did she get any of that delicious salt?
Yeah. That's kind of how it seemed, right? Like he kind of been, I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird.
I do like though that the way they had the lines that they gave McCoy, like DeForest Kelly's performance of McCoy reading as the creature, and like when they're like, hey, this thing, this thing, this thing. I did like his acting. He did a nice job where he was trying to still kind of act like McCoy, like the creature would, but also like, well, maybe that's not a great idea because like it's okay. It doesn't really want to hurt anybody. But he posed it in such a way where it sounded like the doctor was like it didn't like if I was sitting at the briefing table and my buddy came into the room and that's how he acted, I wouldn't be like, oh well, clearly this is the salt creature. I'd be like, huh, his opinion has kind of changed, but at the same time, I guess I can understand where he's coming from.
There's a lot of like leeways and stuff too, but there's always that thing where like somebody's trying to be like somebody that's close friends with you.
Yeah.
And like he forgets very basic like things that he would not forget.
Yes,
like
that's
like
true.
Spock stands up and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm going to assist you to take the doctor to medical. That's that's my job." And he's like, "Oh, yes. Yep, that's right. Starfleet protocol number 1. Got it.
It's actually number 12, Doctor. Oh, yes. Attitude.
Oh, yes. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes. Like, yeah. But very blatantly, like he's like 100% on the side of the monster, like immediately. Like,
yeah.
Oh no, he wouldn't be doing any of these things. And then every time they're like, "Hey, so are you gonna tell us?" And he's like, "No, I'm not gonna tell you." And like McCoy and like the doctor like just look at each other like, "Are you gonna say anything?" Like, "No." "Are you going to say anything?" "No." Yeah, it's pretty funny.
But to me, this is where it all just like they say all of this information about the creature, and then it just turns on a dime, like 180 degrees, and now it's like a completely different creature, and like its whole motivation is like the rest of this doesn't make sense to me, but it's okay. So here's the last little chunk. Finally, the creature kills Crater in sickbay and attacks Spock. Fortunately, Vulcan physiology makes him an unappetizing victim for the creature, as Spock explains to the captain from sickbay. Now desperate, the creature now once again appears as age-appropriate Nancy, returns to McCoy's quarters, begging him to defend its life from Kirk and Spock, who have figured out the creature's secret. Kirk appears with salt tablets in one hand and a phaser in the other, and tries to convince the doctor to stand clear. This is not the real Nancy. Even when the creature overpowers Kirk and McCoy is standing dumbstruck at the turn of events, the doctor still cannot bring himself to shoot what appears to be the woman he once loved. Spock arrives, seeing Kirk in distress, and immediately urges McCoy to shoot, but the doctor refuses. After a brief but unsuccessful struggle to take the phaser away, Spock repeatedly and violently strikes Nancy in an effort to convince McCoy that this is not Nancy. The creature, who is apparently not affected at all by Spock's blows, strikes the Vulcan, knocking him across the room. Then the creature reverts to its natural form, placing its hands on Kirk's face. Kirk cries out, and finally, in an emotional, painful move, McCoy kills the creature with a phaser blast, saving Kirk and the Enterprise crew. Afterwards, the Enterprise departs its orbit of M113. Spock notices a solemn-looking Kirk in the captain's chair and asks what is wrong. Kirk solemnly replies, "I was thinking about the buffalo, Mr. Spock." The Enterprise departs M113. So to me, the thing that just like kind of blew my mind was the fact that he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna go down to the thing," and then all of a sudden it's like, "I'm gonna kill Crater, even though he's been helping me this whole time and he's been nice to me, and I'm gonna kill him, and then I'm gonna attack Spock." It's just like, what is going on?
Well, creators, walked right into it because he said he's the only one that could like know who the creature is, like in any form he takes. Like he knew.
Yeah.
So it's like, it can't be any, can't be found out. It can't be any witnesses. But yeah, it was like this very, like, it went from being this, like, Oh, he's just trying to survive, to like very maliciously being like, okay, so kill the guy who knows who I am. Okay.
Mhm.
Basically, he became the imposter on the Enterprise.
Yeah, yeah.
He had to kill the guy who knew, and then
Yep.
he had to try to kill Spock because Spock was there, and that didn't work. So then he tries to
Fortunately for
manipulate
you.
McCoy.
Yeah. Fortunately, my blood salts are not as delicious as your blood salts.
Yeah. My salts are green. Yeah. But then he like very I do like that when Spock comes in and starts punching her. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I did like that.
He's like, look at this, McCoy, doctor, look.
Is this what Nancy would do? Would Nancy just take this like this? And he's like, well, I don't believe Nancy.
I don't think
And she
that.
like
He's
knocks him across the room, and he's like, I don't recall Nancy being that strong.
Yeah. Then it turns into that old crazy
Yeah.
looking sea
Like,
monster thing.
Oh,
I don't think
Hmm.
Nancy looks like that.
Well, I mean, I know like age would.
Yeah. I mean, it has been like 10 years.
Nancy?
Yeah.
He shoots it.
Oh, God.
So here's the other thing, right, where it
Yeah.
kind of goes off the rails is like this thing has killed like 10 or 11 like crew members.
Yeah.
And like nobody's heard anything. They just come up on the body.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man. But then it gets a hold of Kirk and he's like, ah, ah. It's like, so like, does everybody scream or does,
Nope,
is this
just Kirk,
like,
because he can fight it.
Yeah.
He's fighting it with everything he has. He's the captain.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Then he finally gets like let go and he like slumps over on the desk.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
he's still looking at McCoy.
face. Yeah.
It's like, kill it.
Kill
Kill it. I can't. It's Nancy.
Oh, God.
It's not Nancy anymore.
Look at it.
Man.
Look at it.
Look at it.
Yeah.
But when he finally kills the creature and it like lays on the floor and like turns back in to
Yeah.
like Nancy, but every time it like shows somebody's face and then it goes back to the monster just laying there. Like, and then it would show somebody's face and it would go back to the. I was like, oh my god, it's like the first time in this episode I laughed out loud because like they just would keep being like
cutting between McCoy, yeah, like McCoy's face and the yeah,
and then Spock being like, we got it,
Everyone in the room is shocked.
You shot
this
it.
thing is a crazy looking monster. Yeah,
I was just trying to figure out why it was wearing fishnets on a
that
planet
was a beautiful
of
garb of its ancient society.
On the planet full of sand, he's wearing fishing ropes, fishnets.
Also, really strange that a salt creature that like is like super hairy and like you would think he'd be like reptilian,
But I do like the payoff of like because like the whole time you see these like marks.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, that's gotta be, that doesn't happen when you like suck the salt out of you. But at the very end, he's like his hands are like this big suction cup, like oh, I like that. That's good. Yeah,
that's good stuff.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. That it I think honestly that's why they put it at this. That's why they made it the premiere, is because like suddenly shifting between people is like one thing, and there's a night like you have as your Zoom username is mystery bellyache, right? So it's like a good mystery who like if you don't really wonder who's doing it for the audience, but they do, right? They're trying to figure out who's killing everybody because you pretty much immediately know it's Nancy, like almost immediately. And the funny thing is, I can see why they liked it, because all of a sudden honestly, the end of it, if I was a person in the 60s at this age and I was watching cowboy shows And I'm like, yep, it's another episode where this guy tries to hornswoggle everybody out of their money, and then the bad guy, and then the sheriff or the wagon master beats him up and gets him out of here. How dare you? And they go to watch this episode, and it's like, oh wow, cool space stuff. And then all of a sudden, at the end, it's like, with these things, I'd be like, oh wow,
this is great. Yeah. Well, it's like my dad's joke, right? So like every time he watches Rifleman, he's like, "Well, I don't know if Rifleman's gonna make it out of this one."
Yeah. Yep. Kirk almost didn't make it out of this one.
It's true.
So far, so far, 2 episodes of Kirk yelling, because of something happening to him against his will, right? Like,
yeah.
That was the Man Trap. So before we conclude, let's get on to your favorite part. What does Caleb think?
Caleb?
So, Caleb, who gets the Erica Ortegas Award for being most unlikable?
Dr. Crater.
Okay, yeah. Why won't you just leave us alone? Look at all the salts that we have.
Leave us that salt and leave. We're looking at these ruins.
You jerk.
Like every time they go out in the desert, there's like 2 like wall structures up there. Like I don't think there's anything to find out from this civilization. I think it's pretty desolate at this point.
We've been here for 5 years and we're still trying to figure it out. We don't understand what happened.
We're still looking for we're still looking for the civilization.
Okay, who gets the Elizabeth Cutler Award for being most forgettable?
The first guy that beamed down with him.
Oh, Darnell?
Darnell, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say Green, but she turns into green and has the whole thing, so Darnell,
Yeah.
He ran off with her. He thought,
yeah,
something was going to happen, and
he was
immediately
like,
did. Ooh. You look just like a girl I met on Zeta Beta Delta Prime.
It's just like she was just like, oh, I'm gonna walk over here. It's so beautiful and pretty. And he's just like, I have to. Oh, let me see. Okay, who gets the Trip Tucker Award as being the MVP of the episode?
Probably Spock.
Ooh, okay.
He's kind of the one that puts stuff together, and he's really liked his character. He's always been like kill first, ask questions later, which is very surprising.
That's true.
Even in this episode, he's like, we gotta kill it. We gotta kill it.
It's true. It's very true. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, he goes. I mean, he takes it. He tries to stop the thing pretty quickly, and he's trying to figure things out. Yeah.
Well, he's the one that's always looking at stuff. Oh, you know what? You know what I really like too? I didn't tell you.
Okay, yeah.
There's that scene where he's got that like antenna thing in his ear.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
Like listening to the science station, and he can just like pop it out.
Yeah.
That thing is it was really cool.
Yeah. That's what Uhura has at the comm station. I think she has it in Strange New Worlds as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess I've never really noticed.
She's usually like has her hand up to it, and there's like the thing is in her ear.
Well, this was very blatantly like he turned to like talk to Kirk, and it was like still in his like ear, on its own, and he like had to like pop it out.
Yeah.
But that was cool.
I think he was listening and trying to he's like scanning the planet. I think it was that scene. Yeah.
Yeah, he was looking to find the craters.
Yeah. Little did they know one of the craters was already aboard.
Little did they know.
Okay, what gets the Shran Award as being the best action sequence of the episode?
I like Kirk and Spock flanking Dr. Crater.
Okay. Yeah.
Like that. That was pretty fun.
I thought you might have suggested the double axe handle punch thing to Nancy.
Yeah, that was
But
pretty
that's
good.
okay. No, that's it.
No, that's no.
No, okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't condone hitting women, Will.
It is a pretty good scene where they beam down and the thing explodes and he's like, go over here. And then like you said, he's like trying to get around all of that.
You set yours to kill, I'll set mine to stun.
Yeah.
May the best man win.
Yeah. All right. What gets the NX award as for some sweet ship stuff?
I really like McCoy's bed sheets. They're like that red and gold, like laced.
Yeah. It's super famous,
like,
right?
pillow.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I did like that. I like seeing it.
Yeah. I think in the Ticonderoga thing you saw them too, right? Because the med bay has like the same sheets.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just cool.
It's a cool little
They don't look
pattern.
super comfortable to lay on, but
No. Okay. What gets the Porthos Award as being the cheesiest thing of the episode?
is it when they shoot him with the stun gun and it kind of like does like that weird, like janky, like fast motion like thing?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's it.
Okay. It's like, oh,
He's like, pew, pew, and he gets shot and he's like, hey. It was like very like, I was like, wow, that's weird.
Yeah. Clearly the actor did not fall down as fast as they wanted, so they sped it up.
He's like 100 years old.
Yeah. They're like, okay, sir, when you get hit by the stun, you immediately drop. He's like, got it. Whoa, 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 whoa. And they were like, it happens in like, it takes like 1 or 2 seconds. And he's like, got it. Whoa, whoa. And they were like, we're just going to have to speed this thing up.
But you know what's funny though is like you would think that like getting stunned would actually be slow.
True.
Like your whole body would just be like, oh.
It would be pretty cool if Star Trek did do that. If you like shot him and everybody like slowed down, like
yeah, like stasis. You know,
it would be cool. It would be cool.
Like in Dead Space, you have like that stasis thing you can shoot out and it like freezes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
That's funny that you said that too, because when I saw it, I was like, "That's rough." To me, I thought the 3 things I thought you were going to pick from was either the design of the monster, the hand plant,
yeah,
or Green is like dead, and her hand, Nancy has like her hands on his face, and she's like, "Ooh," like making these faces,
and they're walking like all around her.
Yeah, they're like, Green, where are you? Report in. Where are you?
And then he just like walks up into him.
He's
just
like, hey,
stands there.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh. He's like, I just got done looking in the cave, nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Kirk immediately was like, have you seen this? Have you seen this guy? Look at this.
Oh, yes. Yes, I saw him. I saw him. I tried looking, nothing.
No.
You guys don't have any salt tablets, do you?
All right. And finally, what gets the Enterprise Award as being the best scene of the episode?
Probably the end scene there where they're fighting Nancy.
Oh, okay.
Like the whole thing and shooting him and shooting the monster and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it just me or is it when McCoy like shoots the phaser?
Yeah.
Is it very clearly just like a freeze frame?
It probably is.
Because it's like they just they like freeze the footage.
Yeah.
And then it's just a picture of him pulling the trigger, and then they can put like the effects on top of like just the picture.
Most likely. Yeah.
Because he's like, nee, and it like freezes, and it's like still shooting.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
That's kind of smart. It's smart to do it that way, I guess.
Yeah.
How did they do the phaser effects? You know?
I think they
Like the
just
actual
went in and
beam?
like colored lines.
Wow.
I think so. I think they literally just like painted over on like the actual film. Like they just put like pieces of film on the color on the pieces of film.
Wow.
I'd have to ask. It'd be interesting to maybe somebody at the tour would know. All right, so that was the Man Trap. So write in the comments below what you thought of the episode. Did you have a different best scene or cheesy moment, or did you think the MVP should have been somebody else? Let us know in the comments below. No, it's always Spock.
That was Spock. I mean, come on.
Next week we'll be jumping into episode 4 of Star Trek the original series, but it'll be episode 6 for us. The episode entitled The Naked Time. Ooh, ooh la la.
Oh my.
In more ways than you can imagine.
Oh man.
So that is next week's episode. So as always, if you liked this, leave a like. If you didn't like this, leave a dislike. Share with your friends so they can see some really awesome Star Trek content. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and ring that bell for notifications so you don't miss it when they get released. And as always, you can go over to Caleb's channel and watch anything over there. Let's ask Caleb if he has anything down in the pipeline.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes and no.
Okay. In the coming week here, we're going to do another Dragon Ball talk about. So that'll be up in a few weeks, but we're going to talk about it. So look forward to that.
Yeah.
For all you podcast lovers.
We put out we're starting our 90s rewind series.
That's true.
So we're doing like stuff from the 90s that we used to love but had forgotten about. So
yeah.
The first one is mine, and it's probably the worst one in the series, but it's about a old like British shark documentary that I used to watch all the time.
Yeah.
So that's out, and yeah.
That's right.
That's fun. It's a lot shorter than our normal deep dives.
Yeah, we brought out in that episode, like it's free on YouTube, so you can watch it and then look up Eyewitness Shark on YouTube and then watch that, and then head on over to his page and give it a watch and see our reactions and our thoughts about it. Well, this has been the Retrek Review, and we appreciate you watching. So computer end program.
Please end program.
See you guys. For the love of God, please.
Please, computer, shut it off. Check for any messages. Oh, yes, there is a message here. Let's see. From the captain to all crew, please do the outro. Oh, okay, yes. Take time on my busy doctor schedule here to record a couple things. Oh, hello. Dr. Stephen House, Chief Medical Officer aboard the USS Drake. Just wanted to record a few reminders for you guys. So here we go. The Retrek Review is a Daystrom Holodeck podcast. It's produced in association with the Plastic Underground Props, hosted by Caleb Stoddard and Will Wilbur, edited by Will Wilbur. Our outro song is by Kaylee Joy Rookledge. Our theme song is by Samo Studios. And our outro song is by Tommy T. The title card art was created by Caleb Stoddard. Trophy art was created by Adri Wilbur from Love by the Letters. The synopsis and written plot provided by memoryalpha.fandom.com. Star Trek is created by Gene Roddenberry, and all official clips and pictures are owned by Paramount Pictures. You can follow us at the Plastic Underground Props and the Daystrom Holodeck on Instagram and YouTube. So that is it. That is all I had to say. And what? Lazesh, don't touch that.
Okay, we'll get.
Phaser.
Yeah. Oh.